cling on to your wife. Right? Is that not the saying? That's the saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even the church knows this. Once you leave your family, your husband and then your kids become your number one priority.
I'm listening to you.
Okay? Becomes your number one priority.
Okay.
Now, that being said, there are various angles one can take to approach it because it's a very sensitive discussion with your wife. Obviously, she came from this family. This family must have done a number of things for her that makes her feel still very much attached to them, and seeing them before children and her husband, which is also very wrong. Now, you've left your family. Now you've started your own family. So this family you have started should be your number one go-to before any other family. You can start by saying, someday, these kids will grow up and they will leave us. And then when they look back, they remember everything that conspired or happened whilst they were growing up. I don't want it to be a case where I'm the only one who's available for these kids. I'm the only one who's available to speak to them, who is available to spend money on them, who's available to do everything they need. They'll forget you.
No, but he didn't say that.
No, I'm telling you, he didn't say that. But from that message, he says...
We're assuming.
No, the message says, I've noticed that my wife often prioritizes a family member first.
Doesn't mean she doesn't do. So
she might be doing, but
yes.
They come first in everything. So there can be a case whereby the kids might even run to their mom and ask her for something, but she's going to delay on it. And then maybe a family member comes and then the kids will see her answering the family member before she even comes to answer them. That's if she even eventually comes to answer them. These things happen, and I'm only speaking from experience. And then these kids will grow up and then remember all these things.
You want to share an experience with us?
So I have a friend who grew up in a family of 6.
Okay.
Now, pretty much the father did everything and anything, down to even parts.
Okay.
Every single fund this woman, that's the mom, was able to ever come up with goes to her family members.
Okay.
No matter how broke they might be.
Okay.
Even though the children come to her and ask her for money, mommy, we need this. Go and meet your father.
Okay.
But when our siblings' children come to her and ask her for things, she'll give to them. Okay. And guess what? These kids, they remember. And of course, by virtue of them remembering, it's still why I even know about it, because they were hurt in the long run. So if he's able to explain this to this woman and, let her try to see the future and not now, from my point of view, that might change her. Okay. Because come on, you can't start a family and then still want to bring your family first before your family. It's wrong in all areas.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Inika, what do you have to say about this?
Okay. So he's asking how he can approach this, right? So I feel first of all he needs to find the right time and the right place to have this conversation. And then the thing is, he needs to understand. In fact, he needs to understand why she's doing this, because some people probably grew up with the family. Maybe her parents struggled to take her through education, to make her who she is now. So she believes, or she has been told by them, that when you get there, you should not take care of us. Okay. So she feels she's obliged to do that, whether she has a family or not, right? There are some people who maybe she grew up seeing her mom, only take care of her own family and not take care of her own family. So maybe her mom was her role model, and she's now, replaying the same thing in her own family. So it's good to try to understand why she's doing this. And then, most importantly, and this is what I do with premarital couples, create a marriage vision. What is your goal? Why have we come together as one? Now, if we have come together as one, as a union, then we should come first, not other people. What are our goals? So and I remember yesterday we had the topic of commitment. So commitment is putting the family first, being loyal to your family. So if she's doing that outside, then it's either that there was no conversation as what is our goal as a family, what are our values, what are our union. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So I think also having that conversation, and then most importantly, when he's having this conversation, he should focus on how he's feeling and not be saying you do this,
Exactly.
putting blames, because all you're going to do is push her away and force her to insist on continue. Do you understand? So yes, I appreciate her and say, okay, I know you're taking care of the family. I understand you need to. Maybe she's the first boy, she's the adult and all that. I know you need to, or you feel you're obliged to. But when you do this, when you don't put our kids first, when you don't put me first, this is how it makes me feel. It makes me feel that, you can up and you understand. Just let her understand how you feel, so that she knows that this is the effect of her actions to the family and to her children. And just acknowledge that we are a family. Now, if you've had this conversation with her and she still hasn't changed, then clearly you have married somebody who has put her extended family first. Above all.
And
there's nothing you can do about it.
And then in that instance where you've discussed with her and she still refuses to change, as a counselor in this instance,
exactly.
What do you do?
So sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay, now after having this conversation with and still she still doesn't see a reason or an understanding to how you feel, because I like the part where you said I think. So it means you're not shifting the blame to her. You are simply expressing how it makes you feel.
Expressing how you feel. Yes.
Now, having done that, and still she's unable to comprehend where you're coming from, what's the next action to do?
Well, the next action is, if you're someone, let me take you for example, who does not deal with counselors, and you have done your approach of trying to communicate with her and she still doesn't understand and still doesn't want to, accept what you're saying, then you have the choice to either go along or deal with it. It is who you married, or you now separate your finances and say, okay, you know what? Let us have separate finances. Our finances for the family, do not touch it. Anything you want to do for your own family, go and do it with these finances. Do you understand? So have like a family account where she's not signatory or she cannot withdraw money from for the family, and just leave it there. Then if she wants to build house with her own account, that is her business. But as long as the family account is still there, then at the end of the day,
Ginika, I don't agree with you.
See, Ginika, this thing where you just talk now, I've seen instances where it has happened, where they have this conversation and then you want to segregate. What if she tells you, I'm sorry, I'm not putting my money separate? Hearing the fact that she knows that I won't get access to this money unless you sign it and I sign it.
But even at that, let me even
that's
tell
like
you.
I said, at the end of the day, you have a choice to make. You either deal with it or not deal with it.
So when you say not do with it, what comes after it? Not do with it. Does that mean you're going to walk away from it?
No. It's your choice. Okay. That's what I said.
Trying to poke her.
It's your choice.
Don't mind Tommy's trying to poke
choice.
you.
No,
Tommy's trying to poke you. But
I'm not against divorce. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I think is, even that suggestion of saying, oh, whatever she does with her money, it's her business, that can actually break a home. Because if both partners are struggling and the man needs help, it won't work, because the man will be angry about everything.
He will always be angry.
He will always be angry, because you're saying, I will be the only one doing everything for my family while you spend your money on your own family. It doesn't make sense. Are you saying that these children are not part?
No, I didn't say I didn't say the family account is only him putting the money in. So the thing is, if both of them have decided as both working partners and they're both bringing income into the family, do you understand? So the joint family is both of them, if they have agreed. You see, the thing is, both of you need to agree how to work your marriage. Like how A works their marriage should not apply to B. Two of you agree how to work your marriage. Now, if both of you have agreed that both of you bring in the resources together, but to sort out her family thing, and that is why it is disturbing you, then have a separate one. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you are the one, the man should only focus on financially keeping the family stable, then she should use her own money. No. That's not what I'm saying. I think.
Okay.
Did you get ahead? That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. But I've also with this thing, there are a lot of issues. It could be money. It could be the man being responsible for his family and neglecting his own family. He's
And then-
training his elder ones, and then when the children need. In fact, I've had situations where somebody reported the husband to me that he had money, he borrowed the money to the sister or something, and the children were at home, they've not paid school fees. Things like that. That's also the impact of family on relationship and marriages. Sometimes it's not about just getting involved. Is the mother-in-law. I've seen people who can't tolerate their mother-in-laws because maybe their mother-in-law is doing this. She comes to the house. She's saying, "Oh, now my pikin, I get all the money. So what are you doing with my son's money?" Things like that.
During my son's money, I will tell you the son cost it. That's why I earlier said there needs to be boundaries.
Yes. So there need to be boundaries. But there are some mothers that even with
You
boundaries.
go set boundary for that mother.
But even with boundaries.
I say you will set boundary.
Because you can set boundaries. See, you're also speaking from your own point of view. There are some people that their mothers, men, full-grown men, and their mama see they control
Which
them.
is why you will speak to your mother. Some mom out
Yes,
there
they have this
are
hold.
not intellectually intelligent.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And they might even do things behind their
Awesome.
son.
But it's also the son's place to take his stand.
Oh, the guy will do that, but there are some very stubborn
You
mothers that will
take
keep
your
coming.
stand.
Yeah.
That's why you're the man, and that's why it's your home.
That una go quarrel last.
Quarrel last. Eventually, she come to terms and accept what it is.
Yes, and
I'm
then
sorry,
they-
mom.
and then
I've
they will
moved
say your
on.
wife is a
I'm
bad
still your
person.
son. I'm still gonna do whatever I need to do for you. But I'm sorry, I have my family.
Agreed.
So it's just what it is.
You don't get my point. We're saying it's easier said than done with certain
It's not easier. I
scenarios.
say okay. Well, for
Yes,
some
with
certain
different-
people,
yes, for
easier
some-
said than
yes,
done.
easier
But
said
I
than
think
done.
the natural course in life, every man should be able to stand his feet and know when to set boundaries. If you do that, then you have a peaceful home. And most
It's not about only the men.
yeah.
Sometimes the men also go through the woman's family coming in to control what happens in the house. That's why you hear that it's difficult for the man's family, except the woman is very good. Now the woman family, they always did the house most of the time because the woman
True.
feed they know they give food, things petty things like
True.
that.
And then he'll go tell the
They'll
husband
go
for
tell
back,
the-
say,
yes,
see what they
see
give
your
me.
wife. So
But in that
little things.
instance, I repeat, the man will still have to speak to his wife. Because if you say you want to just listen to what they are saying and not hear from your wife, you're only going to break your home. Trust me.
So, like I said,
If it's true,
shit happens.
fine. You speak to your wife, you get to understand it, and then you caution her. This is my family. I do what I need to do for my family. When I say my family, that's you and my kids. But I also will do what I need to do for my family.
and that's
With
you
your
see-
understanding, of
but you
course.
see that way you talk now.
Yes.
Some women don't even want to hear it. So,
Well,
but like-
in my own case, my woman is the one who won't remind me, say, guy, you never do this thing for your
That's why
family.
we're saying that it works for you.
Yeah.
We're saying in different scenarios. But before we round up the show,
We're not running up yet. See, this conversation is still,
we're going-
there's still a lot to talk about.
we have just 4 minutes. We have just 4 minutes to round up. So really, going back to having conversations, having that person that you speak to, like you are anti-counselor, some people are anti-pastors, some
I'm
people
anti-pastor, man.
you are okay, please. You are anti-everything. Why are you so troublesome?
It's not about being trouble. I'm just.
That's who he is.
You just
yeah.
told me. You just told me Akin Babaola. You just told me Akin Babaola.
I just don't like bullshit in Michelle's voice.
That's complete bullshit.
I'm telling you,
That's complete bullshit. So we have said now that you can speak to someone, you understand, you can speak to anybody if you need to speak to, but just be sure that the person you're speaking to is someone who understands what you're going through and is able to articulate whatever information you're giving to the person and understands how to advise you properly. Ginika, before we leave, you have something to say? Okay, so Ginika is already off. What do you have to say?
I just want to say that yes, having family is a good thing.
Okay.
It has its positive sides,
Okay.
and of course, you should know when to draw the line. You
Okay.
should know how to set your boundaries, because if you don't do this, you have problems.
Okay, please follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe on our YouTube platform, Official Upgrade TV. And also, please, if you're watching live, also please indicate where you're watching from so we have an understanding or have an insight of where our viewers are watching from. And also, you can send us a message on 081 8038038463, or you can send us an email on counsel@vodaconsult.com. In fact, we couldn't finish this conversation, but thank you.